we had such a good response for Romania last year. Yeah, I mean, he came up with Syria, obviously another fantastic cause, and particularly children as well. So I think we were all impressed with that. So we signed up straight away, and yeah.
Jim, why Syria, or that area anyway? Why there in particular?
Can I just say something else first?
Of course.
We're all motorcyclists.
Yes.
That's what brings us together here. And it's quite a sad day for us, because earlier today we attended the funeral of somebody called Eddie Christian.
Yes.
And we went out to his funeral in Balaf. And when I was thinking about what I might say this evening, I thought the first thing I should do is just remember Eddie, because it was a wonderful event, so well supported. So I just thought I wanted to say that. Anyway,
and a great lad who'll be really
absolutely
missed.
Absolutely, yeah. A wonderful turnout at the funeral.
And a stalwart of motor racing over here, of course.
Absolutely, yeah. So that was what's the word? Poignant moment. And that's sort of, because we're all bikers, we're all racers as well. Manx Grand Prix, TT, and from the 80s, 90s, and 70s,
70s, huh?
noughties. And the guy we all looked up to, of course, was Joey Dunlop. And he used to go off on these trips, these humanitarian trips around Romania. And when we went last year, 2016, we were trying to trace his footsteps as much as possible. But then you think now, okay, well, if Joey was doing the trips today, I don't think he'd be going to Romania. I think he'd be watching the news thinking, okay, where do people really need a bit of help? And you see the news reports coming in there, and these people who've lost their homes and living in refugee camps. And I don't know, I think that's probably where he'd be heading. So that's where the idea came from, really.
Ronnie, over the last couple of weeks, you've been getting collections of food and clothing and items, and it sounds like it's been going very, very well.
Oh yes, that's been fantastic. I mean, last year we had a build-up of about 3 months to do this. This year it was, because of hard to plan this kind of trip down to Turkey-Syria border. We've only had 4 weeks to do it, so we've had a tremendous response by ShopRite and Milcrease, particularly Milcrease has given us kindly donating a hire van for us for the whole trip. FOC and ShopRite have got trolleys in their stores. I know you singled me out for doing this. I mean, we're all collecting, but it's just that I'm quite lazy, so I'm retired. If these two guys work, I don't. I just have a life of leisure. So, but the raising of the food and the clothing is tremendous. I mean, I'm fairly sure by the end of this weekend we'll have a van load of clothing thing. We're hopefully still collecting up a few more bits and pieces over the weekend, and food particularly. But it's been tremendous.
Ian, you've supplemented this with things that you've brought over from Scotland as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much a joint venture, because I'm obviously not from around these parts. I'm from Scotland, and when we first came up with the idea, it was to do something back then when we first done the Romanian trip, was to do something in memory of the riders that we'd lost, principally in the name of Billy Redmayne, but not just Billy, but all the riders we've lost. And it's still about that. It's still doing something in memory of all the riders that we've lost to our sport, which sadly we lost another few riders this year, and that's what it's about. So people from across the whole country have been donating stuff, and whether it's not just Scotland but down in England as well, there's been people trying to get stuff to us, and Isle of Man obviously absolutely fantastic. So I came across last night with a great big trailer full of clothes and foodstuffs and toothpastes and all the sort of stuff that we're going to need, and I've got more stuff that I've got to pick up when I get back to Scotland. This isn't going to be the last trip. We said that the first time. We didn't know if we'd ever do it again, but when we came back we knew that it wouldn't be the last one. So even if I've got stuff left there, it'll just be put into storage, and that's our starting block for the next trip, wherever we end up going the next time, if we don't get too scared this time and decide that we never want to leave home again.
It's a new career then.
It almost is like that, yeah. It's as experiences go, it's amazing. And as Jim says, we're doing it to go and help these people that have been displaced, things like that. There's a lot of kids over there. I run a youth development charity, so youths, and it's close to my heart. It's what I want to be involved with, is doing something to help them. And if we can do that by just donating a bit of our time, then it's worth doing. So that's really...
Jim, this is obviously a troubled area of the world at the moment, rather dangerous even on that Turkish side. Logistically, it must have been difficult to organise this.
We are concerned about the escalation on the border, so we have to look at that very, very carefully. And it's a situation that's changing on a daily basis, and we have got contingency plans. So if the escalation gets, if we don't feel safe heading down there, then we obviously we won't go. We'll go to one of the other places. So a guy called Ian Paxton, who we worked with the first time we went, and I've spoken to him about could we go back to where, not to exactly where we went on the first trip, but close to it. So that's the plan there. Yeah. And
just finally, are you still looking for more items, or are you pretty much there now?
We're not too far away, I'd say, with the ShopRite trolleys. That's bringing mainly food in and toiletries and stuff like that, and some stationery as well. Because we might be visiting a school down there or within the refugee camp. Yeah. So stationery is always handy as well. Because
there's a tennis school.
They've got nothing down there. So so.
Yeah, as Ian said, if we can throw the emphasis on children as well.
I think one of the biggest things for me coming back from the last trip was I went away thinking that I knew what nothing was, and I completely didn't. And there was one particularly poignant moment, and there's a good picture of it someplace. Me and Jim were in a house where there was 3 or 4 kids on a bed, and this house was bare floorboards. There was windows, but the glass wasn't in one piece. There wasn't curtains. There was bits of blanket or bits of anything nailed up, not on runners, nailed up to keep the drafts out. There was a wood burning stove cooker type thing of some sort. It was all rusting in the corner. It didn't look like it had been used for an awful long time. And there was these 3 or 4 kids. I think it was 4, wasn't it? On a bed, ranging from about 3 or 4 months old up to about 7 or 8 years old. And I'm a big believer in looking at people when I speak to them. I look in their eyes, and you can tell an awful lot of people from their eyes. And these kids, it was just empty, and it really struck deeply home that they had absolutely nothing. They didn't have any aspirations. They didn't have any hope, almost. And if you can do a little thing to help these people, no matter where they are, no matter what country they're in, then you need to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a Reverend Janice down at Moran Church has offered to open that for us on Saturday morning. So a number of people have contacted us and said, well, where can we take stuff? Moran Church, 10 till 12 o'clock this Saturday. Come and have a cup of tea, a piece of cake, drop some stuff off. It'd be great to see you.